Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Carrow Road. It all begins again. Norwich City in the Premier League, hosting Liverpool this evening. There you go. You've got a lovely look at Carrow Road. You may be able to see a lot of the flags that are being placed on seats, apart from obviously in the away end, yellow and green flags. We've got OTBC spelt out in the Barclays so far, and then as per sponsorship arrangements, probably we've got Lotus in the River End. But really nice atmosphere here today. It's just been lovely to walk to the ground and see fans in. Daniel Farker is just down below us doing his pre-match media, as Paddy will show you there, and we'll bring in Pad nice and early. Pad, we've seen a few Norwich players come to the pitch. Todd Cantwell got a nice reception when he walked out. We saw Barley Mumba, Jakob Sorensen, the two new lads, Josh Sargent, Christos Schollis, Yanulis. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've missed anyone else, but as we sit here, a minute or so till the team news, what are you kind of expecting? It's a difficult situation to predict. I think how Norwich City will line up when them teams come out in less than a minute's time.
Yeah, so I'm going to basically fill for a minute and talk about what a warm night is. Looks like I've ran 10 kilometres here, but I can assure you I haven't, because we got into this in window watch last night / preview. And as I was talking, I just thought, I literally do not have an idea now what he's going to go with in terms of formation, because of all the reasons we discussed. You know, the heavily disrupted pre-season build-up, heavily influenced by the COVID call-offs. You know, you've got a Grant Hanley, who I do think in a minute or two will be in the starting 11. Just a hunch. I don't know that for definite, but that underlines the point. There's a guy who hasn't really kicked the ball in anger since he limped off in the Euros for Scotland. That is not ideal preparation by any stretch to lead your team out here against Liverpool, former champions, recent Champions League.
Here we go, Pad. I'm going to cut across you because we do have the team news, so it's just loading in front of me. I'll read it off Dave's laptop. We've got Tim Krul in goal, Aarons, Hanley, Gibson, and Yanulis, the back four. A midfield three of Billy Gilmore, Pierre Lees-Malou, and Lucas Rupp. Rashica on the right, Cantwell on the left, and Timu Buki up front. The subs bench: Angus Gunn, Barley Mumba, Christoph Simon, Jacob Sorensen, Kenny McLean, Kieran Dow, Christos Solis, Adamida, and Josh Sargent. So Norwich City in a 4-3-3. I think that was the big question, wasn't it, Pad? Would it be a 3 or a 4 at the back? Daniel Farker's gone for a 4. Let's get your immediate thoughts on that lineup.
Right, I was too busy trying to do some shabby camera work there to actually have a look. So I'm looking at it now. We've got, Hanley, not a surprise to me, that back four, and it is a back four. I just thought with all those reasons we were explaining last night, he's got to err on the side of a bit of a caution, hence the 4 with Yanulis and obviously Aarons. That 3, well, we saw that here, didn't we, against Gillingham, so that doesn't surprise me either. You know, Gilmore more in the quarterback role, protection either side from Lees-Malou and Rupp, at least that's what they'll hope. And then the front 3, actually, yeah. I mean, I think that's not far off. I think I might not have had a Rupp in my 11 that's gone in print today, but certainly that front 3 I thought was how we'd go once we knew Cantwell was fit and ready and available. Daniel confirmed that yesterday. He's a shoe-in for me. The GOAT is a shoe-in, and it was just that other position. And I just thought it could be one for Rashica. Again, another one who's not had the pre-season he would have wanted coming to the Premier League from Werder Bremen. But maybe that's a reflection of the type of game Daniel feels it could be, and that maybe that pacing behind, if they're under the cosh a little bit, could be a valuable asset. And obviously on the bench, and there's plenty more where that came from. You know, Jolis, Sargent as well. You know, there's attacking options there, and of course Dowell. So yeah, it's not a huge surprise, that 11 to me, but just to underline the point, you know, in Hanley and Pookie, you've got 2 guys there who've had, well, no pre-season to speak of. So not a gamble, but certainly a risk. But that's where Daniel is at the minute. As he said all along, expect a bumpy early part of the Premier League season, and there might be a bit of that tonight. But I think in the circumstances, for me, that's probably the strongest 11 he had available, I think, Connor. Yeah,
sorry, while you're speaking, I was just trying to get the Liverpool team, which I have now. They've got Alisson in goal. Well, hold on. They've got Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk, and Shmikas as the back 4. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Milner, and Keita, the midfield 3, with Mane, Salah, and Jota, the front 3. So Norwich City matching up Liverpool today in what looks like, certainly from the club's graphic at least, a 4-3-3 formation. Their bench is Kelleher, Fabinho, Konate, Firmino, Gomez, Minamino, Origi, Woodburn, and Elliott. So, Pad, that's probably put it into perspective a little bit in terms of what Norwich City are facing today. They have decided to match them up. Daniel Farker has decided to go on with to go with that 4-3-3, which did work so well against Gillingham. Obviously, a different level of opposition. How do you see this one panning out? Where are the key areas for Norwich City this evening?
Well, straight away, my eye is drawn to a three of Mane, Salah, and Jota. If Norwich aren't very switched on defensively, that back four, then it's going to be a difficult ask because they will try and probe for any vulnerability. They've got pace to burn, and for me, that could be a key area of the pitch. If Norwich can get parity, because you go back to 2 seasons ago, Anfield, they got a little bit destroyed in that front three. Liverpool. Okay, they got the early Grant Hanley own goal, but thereafter they just moved through the gears, and Norwich couldn't handle them that night, certainly in the first half. So I think they'll need to be a lot better in that matchup. And then, well, I guess it's a big ask for the GOAT, but up against Van Dijk and Matip, if he can get any joy out of them two. Worth pointing out, we're talking about Norwich's disrupted build-up. Van Dijk has only come back after thick end of 9 months out with that serious knee injury, wrecked his season last season. Played a little bit more in pre-season, it's fair to say, than Timu, but still, there must be a little bit of an element of doubt in his own mind, and maybe that's something Timu could exploit. But, unfortunately, Timu himself has had his issues in pre-season in terms of COVID and self-isolation. Daniel talked about he's lost a little bit of muscle mass. Just saw him down here actually doing some of the rights holders media before the game, and you can tell physically he looks a little bit not quite as his frame, his physique. He's not quite what you expect with him. So, but for me, they're the two areas. Back end of the pitch, can they collectively and individually do enough to subdue those three? Liverpool's three-pronged attacking spearhead. So much of their potency comes through those three. And then at the other end of the pitch, can Timu and the players around him, Rashica as well, of course, offer enough of a threat, to occupy those Liverpool centre backs?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Just to look at the team sheets, which have literally just been handed to us, and I was going to ask you about a little bit of what Daniel Farke said yesterday about ensuring that Norwich got the balance between those that obviously had been involved in that kind of coronavirus outbreak that we saw a few weeks back that led to a couple of postponed pre-season friendlies. This led to a disjointed build-up to this fixture for Daniel Farke's men. Not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. And I think, if I'm right, it's only Grant Hanley and Milo Rashica of that pack that are included in the starting lineup this evening. So that, and Timu Pukki, of course. So free. Maybe that's sort of the balance that he's opted to strike with those three. On Rashica specifically, if Norwich, as we kind of sort of alluded to, I think throughout pre-season, do opt to play a bit more on the counter-attack, as perhaps will be the case tonight, where they don't see a lot of the ball, how important is he going to be when they do turn over possession, when they do look to get up the pitch, and his pace as well, if they are going to hurt Liverpool at the back?
Well, I mean, I asked that Daniel directly. You'll have to bear with me. Obviously, we're now in a very congested press box. Welcome back to the Premier League. So you can probably hear a radio broadcaster in the background, but I'll persevere. I mean, Daniel was pretty quick to sort of downplay that, the recruitment they've done in terms of the attacking areas. Rashica, notably Zolis, Sargent, hinted at a change of approach yesterday when I put that to him. But what he did make the point, and I think it's a fairly valid one, is that they need that flexibility in approach. They need that flexibility in terms of personnel, because not every test you face in the Premier League is the same. And, I'm sure playing Liverpool, he'll go a different way to if they were playing Burnley, for example, tonight. So I think, again, that could be, the more I think about it, Rashica's inclusion could again be, is there a bit of vulnerability, in terms of, Van Dijk, but Alexander-Arnold, he's only coming back from an injury, missed the Euros, didn't he, as well? So, maybe it's a case of, with probably less possession than Liverpool can expect, when they do get it, can they get it in behind, get it quickly in behind, and use Rashica's pace to stretch that Liverpool backline? And then, of course, it's about getting numbers up and around. I think Cantwell's got an interesting role tonight for me, because it's probably unrealistic to assume that they would be able to dominate possession, but in him and Gilmour, you would like to think that there will be periods in the game when them two can get on the ball, try and set the tempo, try and exert a degree of control. And of course, if Norwich are able to get any decent possession, then that's going to frustrate Liverpool a little bit, because I'm sure they will want to come out from the start and try and dominate and try and dictate how this game plays out. So, yeah, I mean, Rashica, he's not really. I'm trying to think now. I mean, of the pre-season games, he played at Kings Lynn, but I don't know if he was on the pitch at the same time as Cantwell. I'm just trying to think. Has he, there was the Huddersfield game that Pookie played, and I think Rashica played that day. I'm just doing it off the top of my head. But in terms of those three behind Pookie, they haven't had a huge amount of time together, and you do need games if you're a new signing to get that understanding. So there's an element of the pieces putting them together, but not quite knowing if they're going to fit. And we'll probably know a little bit more after tonight, I think, in terms of Rashica and what he can offer in that forward area.
Absolutely, as Toby Mills has pointed out in our comments, no Jordan Hugel in the match day squad for Norwich City. I'll run through their subs bench again and see a couple of people asking. Norwich's bench this evening: Angus Gunn, Christoph Simon, Kieran Dow, Christos Schollis, Jacob Sorensen, Kenny McLean, Josh Sargent, Barley Mumba and Adam Eder. So this week's signings both on the bench, although I would be shocked if we didn't see at least one of them as the clock ticks on. Pad, let's speak about what we're seeing in front of us, which is people in seats. It's been a long old time, over 500 days since that game against Leicester here in February 2020. Norwich won that night. It was a Jamal Lewis strike, a fine Jamal Lewis strike, actually. We got, as you can see, our view from the press box there. We got a wonderful view of it as he kind of cut across the ball and went into the bottom corner. Since then, we've had a couple of games with we've had 2,000 fans, haven't we, before Christmas. Even walking up to Carrow Road, even being in Carrow Road as the ground fills up, this is going to be a special occasion, irrespective of what happens on the pitch tonight.
Connor, yeah, I thought it was really nice. I had a bit more of a relaxed morning with the later kickoff, and had a chance maybe on a Saturday you wouldn't normally, but just to sort of take the temperature on social media, and that emotion element was, very prevalent. I thought in a lot of the tweets from Norwich fans that they, one or two openly admitting there'd be a few tears shed when they got back inside, and we touched on this a little bit last night on the show that. There's people here, sadly, who are no longer with us, who would have been here, if times had been different. And, I was watching United Leeds game a bit earlier, and there was a minute's silence / applause, but that was more for personnel that those respective clubs had lost. I thought it might have been a nice touch from the Premier League maybe this weekend to just have a moment's reflection on, the people, those fans who are no longer with us, through the impact of the pandemic. But yeah, no. That will be poignant, but also I think a sense that win, lose or draw tonight, this is another major step forward, hopefully in moving beyond, everything we've had to deal with in the last 17, 18 months. And yeah, football's a small part of life, but it does matter, and it certainly matters to including Liverpool fans, and 27,000 in here tonight. And I can't wait. Actually, what I'm waiting for is, 5:28, 5:29, and the first sort of fully formed on the ball City. I think that will be the moment really when there'll be a few lumps in throats, and maybe people looking around and just thinking, it's been too long, as you said there, 500 odd days, and if that carries on into the game, Norwich will need that. Daniel talked about needing that backing, which is a bit of a cliche, but I think tonight more than any they do, because they're facing a very formidable team, and set against that a very poor pre-season build-up through no fault of their own, really. So every ounce of energy and enthusiasm and vocal cords that those fans can summon, them home fans, they will need that and a little bit more. It's probably unrealistic to expect we can get to Man City levels of atmosphere, but I'm hoping it won't be too far away from that, because when this place is rocking, it's a sight to behold.
Pad, I was going to end it there, but we've just seen the new Captain Canary down below us. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Very vivid eyebrows. That's kind of the first thing that I'm noticing. It's a revamped Captain Canary, which you may be able to see down below from a distance. It's modernised, isn't it? And I'm not sure I like that compared to the original. But there you go. I don't know if you want to add anything on Captain Canary, Pad, or if
all I want to say, Connor, is he's got the most magnificent fluorescent sort of football boots. If they stock them in JD Sports, I'll be taking a pair of them, mate.
Good stuff, Pad. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much for watching. Pinkin.com, of course, the place to go. We've got a live blog this evening. We'll have all the analysis and reaction to the game, as well as, of course, fans return to the ground. Look at it. It looks absolutely resplendent. It's only going to fill up now. We've got just about 45 minutes or so until kick-off. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again very, very soon.